Hey, what's up, ladies and gentle-tubers? My name is Tyler. Welcome back to the eveRide channel. For the last week, I was able to host my good friend and fellow YouTuber Neil Gonzalez of the channel Neil Is In, then do a rolling interview with him on the first leg of his two-wheeled foray to Alaska aboard a Honda CRF250L packed to the gills. We'll be talking long-distance travel, including his trip to Africa. We chat about leaving behind the 9-to-5 and retiring midlife, the finances of adventuring, his perceptions of America, Europe, and Africa, dangerous situations while traveling, and future adventure plans. This is a really great interview if you just want to listen like a podcast, but we also ride through some beautiful southern Utah scenery. Either way, you're going to want to hang out with us today and get to know the intrepid traveler that is Neil Gonzalez. What's up, ladies and gentle-tubers? Today I'm riding with a very good friend of mine. His name is Neil Gonzalez. He's from London, England. We'll come on up here so we can see your setup.
Okie dokie. Here comes the aircraft carrier. Watch out,
kids.
There we go.
Yeah. So Neil is, we've had the pleasure of hosting Neil for about a week at our home.
Yeah, thereabouts, yeah.
Along with a bunch of other YouTubers. Now here's the thing, Neil, he has a conscious goal not to grow his YouTube channel. He's just kind of doing this for the fun of it, for the fun of documenting it. So I'm sure he doesn't want me to say go subscribe to his YouTube channel, but I'm going to say it anyway because I'm sure a lot of you long-distance travelers or people interested in traveling long distance would like to see his journey and follow along. That's really high-quality videos, and it's got a really good short format.
I'm going to try and keep it down to 3 to 5 minutes every week and just kind of highlight, just share with people, generally my family and friends, what I'm getting up to. I don't want to make it like a feature film just yet, but we'll see about that later on.
So Neil, tell us about your bike, your setup, your objectives. You know, tell us a little bit about how fast you plan to go, what you plan to see and do.
Okay,
all that
well,
kind of stuff.
I'm riding a 250, a Honda CRF250L. It's got some nice little parcels done to it already with the suspension tuned up nicely. Mr. DeFacto has helped out with that. Also, I mean, I've got a whole load of bling going on here, but it's just because it came with it. The idea is to just ride slow roads like this and keep it down to 40 to 50 miles an hour. That way I could take it in more, I can pull over at my leisure and just enjoy it. So that's the philosophy. So I should be doing this for about 6 months. In terms of objective, I'm currently riding up to Alaska, although today doesn't seem like the day that I'm going to be hitting Alaska, so we'll see about that.
Earlier this week, we've been taking Neil dirt biking, pushing the limits of the CRF 250.
Yeah.
And we actually managed to break some of his ribs the other day. And despite having broken ribs, everybody knows that when you break ribs, you go to the hospital, you go to the doctor, and they confirm that you've broken ribs, charge you $700 and send you on your way. So instead of wasting time and money doing that, he's just sucked it up. And so yeah, he'll be traveling to Alaska with broken ribs.
Hey, don't tell my mom about that, right?
Don't let your mom watch this episode. What are some of your plans? What are some of the destinations that you look forward to the most?
I'm heading to Bryce Canyon today. Well, tomorrow actually now. But yeah, I'm gonna keep to the national parks and take it in as much as I can. Wild camp where possible, because I'm trying to keep the budget down. That's kind of what I have. The philosophy is to slow and steady and camp where I can for free.
So now that we've covered, you know, some of the facts and figures, well, let's talk about why you're doing it. Kind of the more emotional things going on in your head. How are you feeling?
Right now, not a lot. I made a decision quite a few years ago, and I still kind of feel the same that I did back then, that I don't want to have children. And I quite happily enjoy being single. And it's not that I want to have that kind of lifestyle of always being single, but I kind of enjoying what I've got while I've got it, and I don't want to be waiting until I'm retired to try and do what I want to do.
So compared to Africa, obviously the United States is not as threatening. You know, North America is not as sketchy.
You say that, and I find that quite an interesting thing, because I had that same initial thought myself, but I think probably the US is probably more scary than Africa. It's kind of strange to be saying that, but in the whole, I didn't feel at all threatened. I mean, malaria probably was the biggest fear I had. You know, you put your defenses up, you stay away from situations that could create that sort of opportunity for someone, and, you know, sail through. I mean, I'm not going to say that throughout the whole time I was there I was relaxed. I wasn't. I was quite nervous, but coming away from it, I realized that there was nothing to be worried about.
So Neil has his entire life on that motorcycle. He's left his entire life behind, sold everything, and now everything that he owns is within 3 feet of his body right there. You know, I think that a lot of people think that having kind of this early adventure / retirement, because basically what you've done is you've saved up some money and you're retiring in the middle of your life. I think a lot of people would be nervous about doing something like that, where they think, oh, I've got bills to pay, I've got, you know, obviously as a family man, I'm attempting that in a totally different way. But as a single guy, how difficult is it just to quit your job, pack up and go?
Well, I'm not going to lie, it was nerve-wracking for me as well, and probably more so this time round than the last time. Because my end destination isn't going to be back to the UK. I'm not necessarily planning to ever return back to Europe.
So your home country, your homeland is completely out of the picture now.
Yeah, pretty much. I've lived in London, England for 27 years. In the time I've lived in London, it has gone progressively in an exponential way downhill, and I'm just so sick of it. And the only reason that I was staying there, and the only reason I could sort of justify staying, was to be near my mum, which was her excuse for doing exactly the same, and I don't want to repeat her life cycle, you know?
I see.
So someone's got to break the thread somewhere.
Yeah, I see. So you're going to be on the road for 6 months until you're back, until basically you come back here, right?
Well, that's what we have discussed, and I like the sound of that. At the moment, we've got to see how the money pans out, because this last 2 weeks I've hemorrhaged way more than I anticipated, but it's been all on good things, and I'm not bitter about any of the money spent, but at the same time, at that rate, I probably could only sustain another few weeks at this rate, you know?
Well, you got to understand that the things that you've purchased are not consumables, they're durables, you know? So basically they're things that are designed to get you through 6 months of living on almost nothing. So I have a feeling that besides gas and the occasional maintenance and food, you're gonna be just perfect. You'll be fine. So you know, if you were a mortgage payment in London, what would you expect to pay?
About £1,000, I guess. Depends on what the time.
So about £1,000, so maybe 1,700 to $1,800. I found that on my little trip that doesn't even really compare, I spent $1,000 that month total, but that was on gas, equipment, everything. Now you're going to be out for 6 months, and my guess is that your expenses will be even less. £1,000 is a good sort of solid figure for monthly expenditure. It's also like a funny thing with talking about expenditure as you go into sort of Central America and you know, less developed nations. Like, for example, my Africa trip, I anticipated £8,000 for the trip, and
4 months later, when I arrived in Cape Town, South Africa, I'd only spent 2,600, which is, you know, that's
a huge.
Yeah,
that's good.
I hadn't even dented it. So, do we have many bears around here?
No bears. No bears around here.
How about wolves?
No wolves.
Pumas.
We've got coyotes. You know, I think it's a little bit sad, but generally on any trip, you're more likely to get hit or you know, hurt by another human being, either in a car, by far, you know.
Yeah.
Or, you know, humans are the biggest threat.
Oh yeah, that's what I was trying to say earlier on about Africa versus like America. I felt more threatened. I feel more threatened here, I think.
That's
because
so interesting.
there's so few people on the roads in Africa. Nobody has cars. Admittedly, the trucks that drive out there drive like lunatics, and they are scary, really scary. There's no way of predicting how their conduct's going to be, whether they're going to be speeding or if they're going to be going slow, if they're going to suddenly stop and not have any brake lights and not tell you that they're stopping, you know?
Yeah. Interesting. That's so funny because, you know, I consider America to be very safe.
Well,
I mean,
it's your home country.
Yeah.
Everyone feels that about their home country.
Yeah. But I would consider Africa to be really scary. And Central and South America, I consider to be a little bit scary, you know?
Yeah,
but
I feel the same as well, actually. I think South America might be slightly more hostile, but that's probably because the media wants to portray it like that, you know, give it a negative rap.
Yeah, what you've got to keep in mind is thousands and thousands and thousands of people do you know, a South American trip on motorcycles or in cars or whatever, and nobody's getting hurt. It's the one in maybe 10,000 that gets hurt. Yeah. That you hear about. You know, you're far more likely to get in a serious motorcycle accident than run into you know, some bad people in a drug cartel. But
yeah,
you know, I think it's all just media brainwashing. There, you know, everywhere wants to sell newspapers, so everywhere wants to tell you that everywhere else is dangerous. So
yeah, and also a lot of people want to make, say, like when they do documentaries about said places, they want to make more drama than there actually is.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, I could tell you that Africa was dramatic, but it wasn't. It was pretty much riding like this, but in a different language.
Yeah, yeah. I really do think that 99% of all people out there are good people. And probably a good percentage of those people would be willing to put you up and take care of you.
Yeah.
And help you. But you know, the 1% is the percentage that makes the headlines and makes things scary. And
indeed, yeah. I also think, I mean, you've got to account for that 1% of people. Generally because they're insecure about something or other, and they're just misunderstood or misunderstand themselves. I don't think anyone ever intends to be evil.
Yeah, well, and I'm sure that people who do evil things are, in their minds, believe that it's all justified.
Oh, absolutely. Have you read the book How to Make Friends
and Influence People?
Yeah, Influence People. Yeah,
I love that book.
At the very beginning, you know, it says about
Two Gun Crowley.
Yeah, it's talking about criminals in prison, that they all feel that they were innocent.
Yeah, or they were justified in doing it somehow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They had it coming.
Well, this is about the end of the trip. We've had a super excellent discussion.
Yeah.
Neil, man, I wish you good luck. I guess we'll pull over and I'll give you a hug and.
Yeah, man hug, man.
Yeah, we'll do some man hugging. Look at the landscape up here, though. That's Pine Mountain.
It's rubbish.
That's the mountain that we've been looking at back there. Yeah, Neil thinks that everything in the United States that I've shown him, all my best scenery, he says is rubbish. So I'm starting to think that rubbish means something really good.
Pretty much. Everything's a photograph.
This is lovely over here.
Okay, guys. Well, if you do subscribe, I'm sorry. It's going to be rubbish. And yeah.
Well, Neil, let me give you a big hug, buddy.
Yeah, we're both old men here.
Well, good luck, man.
Cheers, buddy.
We'll see you soon again.
Yeah, I guess so. You'll be seeing my videos.
All right, well, guys, thanks for watching. In the comments, wish Neil good luck and happy travels. He's gonna do awesome. You get to see some amazing things. Make sure to share it with us. And yeah, we'll see you later.
Cheers.